Hello everybody, welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Oana.
So today we're going to talk about where Gen Xers are moving.
Yes.
Gen Xers are a critical demographic for real estate purchasing. Oana, what are some of the key factors about Gen Xers and why they're affecting this data and where they're moving?
Right. So Gen Xers, as defined by the IRS, also known as the Internal Revenue Service, or Uncle Sam, they're defined as...
Tax bastards.
I like that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
That we're going to change the name of the video.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. They're people for basically their mid-30s to their mid-50s right now. And these people are at the peak of their earning, right? The interesting thing about them is that they are earning more money than previous generations at this point in their lives for a variety of reasons. And for IRS purposes and for the purpose of our discussion today, we are defining as these rich Gen Xers as anybody earning $100,000 or more. According to the National Association of Realtors, in 2019, these people made up 24% of the home buying market. So this was the biggest chunk of individuals purchasing homes in 2019. Now, the reason we're talking about 2019 is because this is the data that's available from the IRS, and it correlates with the Association of Realtors. So this is really interesting because what they're doing is they're moving to southern states, they're moving to western states, and they are prioritizing states without income tax. So those are states like Nevada,
okay,
and Florida, and states like that.
So we're going to have some fun here.
Yes, and where are they coming from? So they're coming from states with high income tax.
So let's do this. Let's just throw the chart up.
Okay.
They want the chart.
Okay.
So we're going to throw the chart up right now. Okay, so this is Gen Xers 2018, 2019 per the IRS. Now, there's 1 through 10 on here, and we're only showing you where the top 10 places they're moving. We're not telling you where they're going from. You guys all know where they're going from. Everyone knows. It's not a secret, right? Okay. And now just first of all, here's 1 through 10. Now, I want you to think of some of these states which don't have an income tax. There's only one, I think, state that does not have an income tax that's not on here, and that's Alaska. So these are the no income tax states: Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Washington, Nevada. I think that's it, right? Is there another one?
Florida.
Florida, yeah, Florida, Texas. So what's number one? Florida. Well, Florida, you have a net migration of about 10,000. Texas, a bunch, 7,000. North Carolina was in third place. Arizona. Now remember, the other thing these have in common are tech jobs.
Right. So please keep in mind that we are only talking about Gen X people, okay? We're not talking about their overall migration, just Gen X.
And Gen X, remember, are not your stereotypical tech worker, because your stereotypical tech worker are millennials. They're in Gen Z. They're really the most predominant tech workers. They're the younger ones. But as you can see here in this chart, that we have, this table, they're going to the no tax or low tax states: Idaho, Colorado, South Carolina, North Carolina. Notice that what states don't show up on here: California, New Jersey, New York, Illinois, Massachusetts, right? Connecticut. Those are high tax states.
Right, and those are the states that are losing this generation. This generation is leaving those states and going to these 10 states. I think it's an interesting dynamic, and it'll be interesting to see as these generations continue to age and continue to earn, and what happens with them. Todd and I were discussing this. Part of the reason why this generation is at its top and peak earning potential is because they are the generation that chose to have children a little bit later than their parents did. They devoted more time to their careers than their parents did. They tend to be dual income, and all kinds of social dynamics that are different than previous generations.
And despite the normal demographics of why people move, there is not a coincidence that these 10 states are literally the lowest tax. Utah probably is also in that category. I think they're a pretty low tax state, but like, who wants to go there? Right? You want to go there to go to the parks, Zion and Bryce Canyon, but you don't really want to go there. There's everything closes at 6 p.m. There's some you want to go skiing there, but look, if you want to go out for dinner and you want to go out late, you can forget it because Utah's closed, right? Like right now, it's closed. So there is certainly, we did another video on this, how tax policy affects everything. But these high income earners are taking their incomes to these states. And when they take their incomes to these states, two things happen. They get to keep more money. And then they like that, so they stay. Right. And then the other thing is they buy a house.
They do.
Or they buy more than one house.
Exactly. Yeah. So they are definitely looking for a place to invest their money. And they're diversifying their investments. So they're not only investing their 401ks in the stock market and that sort of thing, but they're also investing in real estate, which is part of the reason that they are the biggest single group of home buyers at 24%.
And the interesting thing too is that, and people dispute this number all the time, and the IRS does for accredited investor, but your primary residence is an investment because you don't have to buy a house. You can just rent. And there are some situations where it's just easier just to get a really small rental, and especially in really super expensive markets. Like if you go to the Bay Area, you probably don't want to buy a house. It's just super expensive. So you just find a small place, it's not that much, and you rent it out if you have to be there for your job. But sometimes you don't necessarily want to purchase, especially if the prices are really high. You're worried about the timing of when you leave to go somewhere else, and not being able to sell it for what you made, or you can't rent it out for your payment, which is there's zero chance in the Bay Area if you buy anything over $1 million that you can rent it out for your payment if you finance it as much as you can possibly find. Even at a couple percent, you're not going to be able to get your payment out of it. You're going to owe money out of pocket.
Right.
So, your primary residence is an investment, and people recognize that. Some of the people buying houses are just, they buy a big house for that reason too. Especially if you're in these states. If you look down this list, you can go every one of these states has a part of the state, except for maybe Idaho, where it's super inexpensive. You can find inexpensive places in all these: Florida, Texas, North Carolina, Arizona, South Carolina, Tennessee, Colorado, Washington, Nevada. Not right in, like, you don't want to be downtown Denver, but Colorado's not the metro Denver area. It's not that bad, but you go out a little further and all of a sudden prices are reasonable. Same thing with Washington. You don't want to be in downtown Seattle, but you go out on the Olympic Peninsula, or if you're further out, maybe someplace. Nevada, of course, we probably are among the lowest on here. North Carolina, South Carolina are super nice, relatively low prices. Florida, it just depends, right? Florida home values and everything is, if you're not like in Miami on the beach, then it's expensive. And then Texas, of course, you have some little areas that are like parts of Dallas, Austin, things like that, which are probably a little more expensive. But the Texas is flat. So you go out a little bit further, and then prices go way down.
Right.
Yeah.
So these are affordable places, and part of what makes them affordable is that they don't have a state income tax.
Yep. So this is affecting Gen Zs, or Gen X, and this is affecting where they buy houses, and so it does affect the housing market. If you're buying an investment property in Connecticut or New York or New Jersey or Illinois, I wouldn't buy an investment property there. I wouldn't want to pay the tax. The taxes are ridiculous. So, anyway.
So if you liked the video, if you thought it was interesting, helpful, or just plain entertaining, please like our video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share it with your friends. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.